Welcome back to step 3, excuse me. We will go ahead and do the tentacle part. I'm going to probably turn them into horns, but before we even do that, I'm going to create, in this top part, I'm going to create a capsule again. No, I'm not going to create a capsule. I'm going to create a sphere, and I'm going to go T, scale that down, E, move it up. So they intersect, okay? So it kind of gets an interesting shape there. If you want more segments, you can do that. We could do 32. See how it smooths it out. So I'm going to go T, scale that up. It's kind of an interesting shape, more of a pumpkin head. I'm going to go E, move it down. Okay. It's doing some interesting intersections there. I don't mind. So I'm going to take that and drop it in our Boole. Again, just to see what's going on. And you could move it left or right. You could check on top, making sure that it's centered. If I go O and zoom in, you can see that it's pretty well centered. And the reason I'm saying that is because watch, if I go off this way, see how the lines are just offset a little bit? That means you're not lining up. Another way to look at that is in that sphere, look at the coordinates and see it's in the Y of 63.75. So again, I might kind of round that out to 64. It's only affecting it in the Y, so this direction, which is cool. All right, so I'm going to go Boole, current state to object. Take that one and delete that one. Now I put that in there. Okay. Now he was doing, or we will be doing, not, yes, me, I will be doing this, a helix and a circle. All right. So the helix, we'll go F1, is way too big at this point. And we want to rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it so it's pointing down 90 degrees. And I'm holding shift as I'm doing this. So then in the object attributes, you can change your start radius. I'm going to go 100 and your end radius. And that is the radius based on 0. So this is 0. It's at the 0 of the Y. So if I come out here and change the end radius, see how it comes out a little bit more. All right, you could change the start angle, radial bias. So don't be afraid to get in here, your height. Okay, then he has those two. The circle is again probably too big, so we'll try 20. And then I want to come in here to the sweep NURBS object, and I'll say I want to take the helix and the circle, and maybe the other way. There we go. Now, as you can see, the circle looks a little funky. So it's taking the circle and sweeping it along the helix. So the circle here is X or ZY plane. So let's try XY, see what that looks like. That looks quite a bit better, or ZX. So I'm thinking XY because you get the full roundness of it. Now in the sweep, we want to go to our end growth. And again, you can play with these end scale, and that's how he thins it out, end scale of 0. And end growth, you can make it grow. So think about this as animated over time also. All right, now in my helix, we want to kind of go, okay, start angle. See how the angle is a little bit off there? We can rotate that. The radius is pretty good. The end radius is fine. Radial bias, height, subdivision. It's kind of a lot of subdivisions, and that's, you can get some interesting things going on there. And then intermediate points, you can even change that to uniform or adaptive, subdivided, and that will kind of affect it in different ways. Subdivision of 3, 4, I'm going to go to 3, okay. So now I would want to change this angle here to, that point is just pointing in the wrong direction for me. See how it's overlapping? So that end angle is kind of odd. End radius. So you can really get a lot of different shapes from doing that. If we really want to manipulate that point, we can go to the Helix, turn off our sweep. Go to this Helix, make it editable. If you do that, then you won't be able to use it for the other ones. So I'm going to leave it on. And what I'm going to do, how I'm going to solve this, is to go to E and make sure that it intersects the object completely. So you don't want any weird intersections like that. Now, I actually don't want tentacles. So I'm going to bring the whole thing up, rotate it. So I can get it to point in the direction I want. And it's sometimes easier at this point. I hit my middle mouse button to allow me to come to this view. I'm going to go E, bring it down. T, scale the whole thing down quite a bit. E. Alright. So let's see, F1. Let's see what this looks like. It's still intersecting. Good. It's not affecting any of the other areas. So kind of a nice little form here. I'm going to go T to scale it down. I'm going to go R to rotate it. 180 degrees, there we go. E. Interesting little placement there. Pretty devilish Day of the Dead style. And again, once you get that, you like it, I'll click on it and making sure that we've got everything kind of ticked off. Any of these little tabs that we need. I'm seeing if there's anything that I'm missing, kind of like that in extrude, create single object. So I'm going to click on it, go to current state to object. I've got my new sweep. I'm going to delete the old one. And this is actually horn. Right? I'm going to take that horn, I'm going to do a symmetry. So drop that horn in there. Now I got 2. Again, I'm going to take those and go current state to object. Now I've got my new horn, which is the 2, and I'll delete my old one. Take this, put it in my Boole. Okay. Interesting shape there. Good. And, you know, if you really want to manipulate the shape once you get to this point. You're kind of stuck with doing it this way. So I'll get my selection. I'll go to normal soft selection, point mode. I'll select this point. I'll select this point. Okay. See how it looks. Go to T. You can E, move it. Just be careful of how you're looking at it, because we want to make sure we're manipulating it appropriately. You could then go to select, grow selection, and you can see how it's starting to select all these. Another way of manipulating that, go to your rectangle selection, go to your front view, select all of those. Now it's good to do it this way because it's selecting everything front and back, not just the visible points. Hold shift, select these. Okay, then again you can, whoops, I missed up. I must not have held shift when I selected these. So now I'm manipulating them even more. You can go in with your, if I did Command A to select all the points, I could come in with my brush tool and brush those to give them some little bit of differences. So I'm looking over here. And the brush I'm smearing, but you could also repel, twist, vortex, smear. So there's all kinds of different things. I can, you know, just like in Photoshop, you can punk and bloat and do all kinds of different stuff to these pieces. Alright, so now got my Boole here. Got my two objects. I'm going to click on that Boole again, right click, current state to object, delete my other two. I'm going to delete these tags, all of them. Kind of gives it a blocky mode. But now when I'm in my object mode, I've got the whole thing. F1, one key to move it around, 3 to rotate. I'm just making sure nothing's intersecting my geometry. Then I'm going to go to File, Save Incremental. So this is Sugar Skull 00001. Okay. Alright, and that is the end of tentacles or horns, whichever you would like to do. So I'm going to do one more on just how to make this into a keychain. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching if you've watched this far. And I will move on to the next video. See ya. Bye.